How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a good day so far, or afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is there. I hope it is a good one for you. We will get into part 2 now, beginning with the workings. Alrighty. We will be using two types of card layouts in our work. The first is the Typhonic circle. This is a large circle of cards, laid in their numerical order, and placed far enough apart to be used in sitting or laying down within it, with the knees up. We do our invocations and a few evocations within this circle, which focuses the total current that the cards produce around you. The other layout is the tunnel of Set. The cards here are laid in the same manner, but closer together, with each card barely touching the edges of the one next to it. The tunnel is a concentrated power zone, providing a gateway for the denizens of our Typhonic realms to rise up and greet us. Moon incense is used as a preliminary throughout all the rites. If you are uncertain about which type of moon incense to use, Magical Child Bookstore in New York City has created an officious one. MAGICKALCHILDE. Or make your own. Again, I repeat, these forces are most alive to us in the dark, and working completely without light is optimal, but not always possible. Our blackness is the darkness of the inward turning eye, the black mirror of the self, the eye of the shaman, and the voyage into Amenta. Within it, your vision is born. Shamanic methods are used throughout our rites. There is much emphasis upon discovering and taking various animal and other organic forms. This is due to the primal nature of our current. There's one thing that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration. Sorcery is a very solar art. Yes, it can be used in a very shadow-esque manner, but the idea of planning beforehand, that's fucking solar as shit, dude. And dudettes and everyone else. Planning is very solar. Much of what I've learned about shamanic trance from multiple cultures is that it is a very, we'll call it artistic act. It very much relates to intuition as opposed to intellect. It very much is tied to instinct as opposed to intellect. So, moving from a more sorcerer-esque practice into a more shamanic practice may be just the thing that some of you who are having a hard time breaking through need. So, keep that in mind. Planning is very solar. There may be unusual physical phenomena accompanying the opening of your Typhonic power zone. These phenomena are unimportant. Disregard them, and they will soon cease. There are a variety of sounds used in feeding and establishing with contact with these entities. Two of these are the winds of space and the hiss of Dahomey, Das Serpent, Homi Home of Yoruban, West Africa. These are performed by simply breathing out in a long, sibilant hiss, or a prolonged shh sound, the winds. Each may be sung on any note, up or down the scale. You can also breathe inwardly. Both of them create a wide range of white noise and pink noise sound, covering many of the individual and preferred note requirements of the various beings to be met. Fair enough. In addition, they, like the rattle, may be picked up by the intuitive brain and formed into patterns. These patterns become words. These words can be keys to entities being worked with and used to call them at a future point in time. Or they may provide access to the powers which lay within that tunnel. Eastern mysticism has brought us the science of sound. Such a study could take a lifetime. Here, we will only use its simplest form. Tibetan overtone chanting is done most easily by first finding your body's natural power note and choosing a vowel. First, sing that note into awareness. Visualize prana, light, as it spreads out from your mouth. As you continue to sing, stop breathing through your nose. It is simpler at first to hold your nose until you get the feel for it. You can block the back of your throat with your tongue, and it will obscure the passage to your nose. It is simpler at first to hold your nose until you get the feel for it. A nasal and inhuman sound will be emitted. Experiment with different vowel sounds. A high-pitched note will begin to ring over and above the vowel you are singing. This is the overtone. You can also close your mouth and hum through your nose. Put your tongue at the roof of your mouth and move it back and forth. This will also create a very simple overtone until you get control of your diaphragm and can allow, it's not circular breathing, but you can allow the natural process of inhale, exhale to carry you through the current. Overtone chanting takes very little air, and one can breathe. And one breath can be prolonged for quite a long time, absolutely. Breathe from the lower chest. The sound should vibrate the entire chest cavity, also releasing power from your chakra. Continue with the visualization of light as it is breathed out along with the sound. As a simple exercise, this will clear and calm the mind, leaving a sense of well-being. In conjunction with ritual, it will produce a powerful sustained connection with the spirit with whom you are working. This is also one of our most powerful ways of feeding our entities. Other sounds used to feed our spirits include the Tibetan bell and the drum. This is from Louis Martinet, or Louis Martini. I believe it's probably Louis Martinet. The drums live. They speak a language we call rhythm. It is perhaps the oldest language, a purposeful alternating of what we perceive as sound and silence. The drums use rhythm to speak the names. The mysteries hear the names and come. The mysteries hear their names and come. Louis Martinet. Martinier? Louis Martinet. We're going to go with that one. Still don't speak French, folks. The drum may also be used in a rhythmic fashion, or with a series of small taps of the finger, one can call to mind a scurrying of a small animal. By running your fingernail across the head, one can create a sound much like the winds of space. I don't think I have any. No, not here. No. Moving on. Different sounds will seem appropriate for different rituals. You should carry knowledge of all these methods so that you may choose the most efficient one for any particular rite. Agreed. These rituals are not presented in any order. The tunnels are like a sponge. I love that metaphor. One tunnel weaves in and through the other, and through another. And any order would be oversimplification and empty mechanical method. Begin with those cards which inspire you most. Each will naturally lead into another. Let your intuition guide you. Come on, back it up. The triangle of flesh. We had a storm and some trees fell, so I think Our neighbors are having some trees cut down. Normally there's like zero traffic out here. Moving on, the triangle of flesh. This is used for both introducing oneself to the forces contained in the cards and the formation of the tunnel of Set inside the temple. Lay the cards in order in a small circle facing inward toward the center. Facing inward. Remember that. Each card barely touching the next. Let this sit and cook for a day. This book was written like 20 years ago, but let it cook applies. Do not allow any light into the room in which the rite is to be worked. Choose 2 others to accompany you. They cannot be faint of heart, and should have personal guardians on the inner, which can be set to guard their essences against any vampirism which could come upon them unaware. Fumigate the room with your lunar incense, and let each magician excuse me. Fumigate the room with your lunar incense, and let each mage sit just outside the circle tunnel, forming a triangle with their bodies. Complete the triangle by holding hands. Now is the time to feed the tunnel with your sounds. Tibetan overtone chanting seems to be the strongest method. The light will continue to build up within the tunnel, and forms will take shape therein. Communication can then be established with these beings. Night birthing. This is a ritual. My nose is fucking itching. Oh, it's probably this tea. Yeah. Moving on. This is a ritual for the solo magician. First, begin by studying each card. Place them in a large Typhonian circle, big enough to contain the mage. Burn moon incense. Get down on your hands and knees, fingers splayed outwards, and invoke the guise of the spider. The web leads out from you into each card. Shortly, one of the images of the cards will appear in your mind. Draw the card astrally along the web toward you, using movements of the hands as if one were pulling a rope. Place the astral image of the card within your womb. It does not matter if your physical sex is male or female. You are working with the chakra aligned with that place. If you are male, place the card where the womb would be if you were female. Change position, laying on your back within the circle with your legs apart. Invoke the primal mother and give birth to your child. The synergization between yourself and your chosen atavism. Communion may then be established. Take each of these steps slowly and completely. Take your time. The forms you assume are essential to a successful working of this rite. Your child, capital CHILDE, is the link between yourself and the atavism. The choosing of the guardian. Crowley recommends invocation of God forms which balance the spirit. As you call upon these forces, you will be drawn to the power most consonant with your inner nature. This is to the good. In this depth, one reaches the union of amenta, the melding of oneself with one's chosen Typhonic totem. So you may use like Baphomet or Baphomet or something like that. In previous rites, burn lunar incense. Sit within the large Typhonic circle, a candle burning on either side of you so that you are able to read the sigil names. Call upon the names of each of the entities beginning with Improdius or Improdius. Call upon the names of each of the entities, beginning with Improdius. Do this speaking out into the darkness beyond the circle. Repeat calling the circle 3 times. At some point, a darkness will seem to pass. It may be as little as a flicker or something more. This is the darkness of your guardian as it passes into you. Absorb this force into your heart. When the entities have all been named, extinguish the candles and return to the darkness, feeling the entities' presences around you. Speak the name of your guardian and wait within its spirit. So, card number 20, the God Eater, Yamatu or Yamatu. This is performed for an experiential understanding of life and death, death and life. You will perform this with your magical partner, and its process will combine your energies far beyond the time of the rite. So be sure you have the proper person with whom to work. The crown chakra is the chakra whose path leads to your angel, to your personal gods, and to those dead who watch over you. Its path consists of your personal energy being before your incarnation shaped for you an ego. It is perhaps your truest self. When you come upon very powerful people, you can sometimes see as a shadow around their crown, the bodies or souls of those entities rising like the hood of a serpent around them. When you come upon very powerful people, you can sometimes see as a shadow around their crown, the bodies or souls of these entities rising like the hood of a serpent around them. Perform this rite inside the tunnel. Imagine you and your partner standing among hundreds of writhing serpents. Slowly sink into the floor and become one with them, and become one of them. Arise as a serpent might, and stand behind your partner in serpent's form. Your partner remains on the floor. Attach your mouth to the top of HIR head of their head and suck the vital essence of the crown chakra into yourself. If you tend towards visions, you will see your partner's guides and gods. You will meet the essential self. You will make it and them a part of yourself. When the process is complete, sink to the floor and allow your partner to rise and do the same. To not do so would be pure vampirism and risks zombification of the partner. Repeated working of this shamanic process will bring about a true union between your souls. Card 29, Kulielfi, the Kalas of the Moon. Go out during the day and pick an abundance of flowers for offering that night. While they are fresh, place them between each card arranged in a large typhonic circle. Create an inner circle of petals alone. As they dry, they will give off their essence and draw the attention of the spirits. Sit outside the circle. Place the Kulielfi card in the center. If you are female, anoint the back of the card with your moon blood. In fact, this is best performed during your lunar cycle, for the blood, like the flowers, will draw the spirits. Dim the candles to almost total darkness. Feed the circle with drum, voice, or rattle. Raise your hands to your forehead, forming a moon of astral light at your third eye. Then slowly draw them away, forming waxing and waning moon on either side. Close your eyes, hold your hands over the card, and focus on the energy as it comes out of the card and into you. If you wish for closer contact, lay in the circle with her card over the Anya center, or ajna, third eye. Her face will appear over you. Her mouth is open, and inside it lies the full moon. Her eyes glow with the light, and her hair the web of a spider. Open your mouth and take the essence of the moon as it flows from her mouth into yours. As we fill ourselves with the kalas of these beings, the parts which have been cut off from us return to make us whole. Yes, there are many things you can do with these rites. Do as thou wilt. The hands of power. We generally identify our brain as the site of consciousness. We do not usually realize that this is a choice. When we touch something, our consciousness momentarily rests at the point of touch. It is through the palms of our hands that we can most easily transfer awareness. We may extend this. It's funny, we were just talking about kof, and now we're talking about chaf. Anyway, the palm, our gateway to transference, is also the part of which ourselves is most easily possessed. Consider automatic writing or great art. While we may be afraid to let the other take our minds, we rest easier, or more easily, in allowing it temporary use of our hands. The following rite is based on this. Set up a tunnel of Set and blow lunar incense into its center. Sing into it using various forms of feeding. Commence overtone chanting, beginning with a low note and slowly raising the note until the circle becomes milky white. Reach with your hands into its center and begin to absorb the light, allowing the energy stirring inside to take over the movement of your hands. Let your hands become possessed of its energy. Allow them to make free-form movement at will. Watch as the strands of energy are woven, as you would watch another creature in its dance. Enter into the dance with your mind and let its patterns speak to you. All right. How many more? Yeah, I think we will go ahead and call that the video. So we will start with, well, more cards. There's not really a title there. So we'll call it a video for today. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below or email me as usual. And yeah, take care until the next one. Thanks.